Boston Bruins are cooking something big ahead of this year's NHL playoffs with a recent acquisition that they have made. We're going to be talking about who this is and what this means for the Boston Bruins going forward, as well as what is going to happen sooner rather than later. We're going to be talking about all of that here in this video, but before we get into it, we have a word from our sponsor here for this video, Hot Takes. We are kicking off a March Madness bracket for the channel, and we partner with Hot Takes app and the other Digest channels for this event. It's completely free to sign up. All you have to do is go and join the Hot Takes app, click the March Madness banner at the top, and under groups, select the Digest Media Pool. This is very exciting as there's over $25,000 in prizes to be won, and since there's a much smaller pool of people participating, there's a real chance in winning big compared to those other bracket challenges that are out there. Check out the link below or scan the QR code to go and download the app. And make sure to use the code DIGEST in all capitals to get all your exclusive rewards when signing in. And again, it's completely free and you have a serious chance to win big. So I look forward to seeing all of you guys here in this March Madness bracket. And if you do need a hand or have any trouble signing in, be sure to reach out to the email down below and we'll get you all sorted out there. Thank you, Hot Takes. And of course, this is a very exciting kind of event here that's going on. Be sure to go sign up and have a possibility to win some money. But without any further ado, let's get into this. Marat Khusnutdinov has been an absolute sensation for the Boston Bruins thus far. Among all of the other trade acquisitions the Bruins have made, he has been one that has been on a major tear. And from this morning's skates ahead of tonight's game against the Tampa Bay Lightning, he's been slotted once again on the third line with Elias Lindholm, Jacob Lauko, unchanged from the previous few games. But his role with this team, what he's been doing, everything he's been pulling up, and the reactions that fans are having to his play has been nothing but stellar. He's been a player that, in the Bruins trade for, Jacob Lauko, Marat Khusnutdinov, and of course that pick for Justin Brazeau, was immediately a steal to start with. But then we actually saw these guys on the ice. We saw what kind of steal this was. And what the Bruins have planned for him coming is going to be very exciting. Now, he is in the final year of his deal, and we're going to talk more about the contract side of things later. But his play style, his way around the puck, his whole scheme and thought process behind the game of hockey is one that you don't see very often. The Russian forward coming from Minnesota in that second-round pick has been a very, very good player, and he's a player that a lot of teams are going to be looking for at that young age, a player that can really come into this line, into this team, and command a line, command this team, and putting him on a team with David Pastrnak, a play style which I do see some similarities there, is certainly going to help his development here in this. I wanted to pull up his stats over the past 3 games with the Boston Bruins, and I want to pull up, or mainly focus on, I should say, the time on ice. Now, being on the third line, second line, being able to kind of move around there, and depending on what the situation is in game, be on the ice more than normal. From what we've seen in Minnesota, being averaging anywhere from 10 to really 13, 14 minutes on ice, he's exceeded all of that here with the Boston Bruins this far, going 13, 14. And in last game where he got a goal first for the Boston Bruins, as well as Casey Middlestat, 17 minutes time on ice. And having him being able to do this, seeing that he's able to do this while keeping around the same amount of shifts is something that is very exciting to see for a guy that had so much potential in Minnesota and ultimately got traded here in this deal, which once again, I'll pull up here just to be a big reminder of how pretty good of a deadline this was for Don Sweeney and the Boston Bruins, and being able to really alter this team. Although it may, seem more of a rebuild than a retool, this advanced the Boston Bruins, in my mind, a lot more than what some of the other trades that were made could have been, or other trades that, were hypothesized for some other players here on the season. But Marat Khusnutdinov has, as I mentioned, immediately been a very, very big star with the Bruins. A lot of fans have liked him, and even with his play and what has been going on as of late, and this is a clip from Brian DeFelice, put this on Twitter from one of his first practices a couple of days ago with the Boston Bruins. You see him there in white with that puck, and he is such a fantastic skater, and we've been able to see that in the first few games with in the Boston Bruins tenure with him. He's been all over the ice. He's been in a good way, that is, but his feet, his speed, everything, and as you can see right here, is just his hands, are something that you don't get very often, especially being able to add to this Boston Bruins prospect pool, and having him in here, along with Fraser Minton, Georgi Merkulov, Fabian Lysell, although those 3 guys are in the AHL, if we can see them progress into an NHL role, maybe not this season, because I think the Bruins do want to go for one of these higher picks, not go for wins as much as we want to say, and I know the team has not counted anything out, but we want to get a good pick. We want to see these guys here in the role next year, and it would help the Bruins a lot to be able to look at this and say, hey, we have these guys, we can bring them up all at once and have this team, be a bit younger, but a lot more talented and a lot quicker than what we've seen a Boston Bruins team over the past few years. And that is another major addition to the Boston Bruins' rebuild process, is speed. Something that it almost seems like over the past 2 seasons they really have not focused on, is that aspect of having a quick first step, a quick skater, someone who can bring the puck into the zone rather than a dump and chase and be able to maintain control of that. And from what we've seen so far, and I know it's only 3 games, Marat Khusnutdinov has been that guy for this team this far. And even putting him here on the power play line 2 with Pavel Zacha, Vinny Lettieri, Henry Occhiario, and Ian Mitchell. Although that power play 2 line is not great, seeing him on the power play right now, and eventually, you never know, moving him to that first power play line could be something that the Bruins are looking to explore, something they're just trying to get him into the system of, this, the Bruins power play scheme. And it hasn't been the greatest this year, but it does look like it could be something special, especially if Marat Khusnutdinov either stays on that second power play unit and you alter some stuff around him, or you move him to that first. He's in a great position to, proceed and evolve and progress with this Boston Bruins team as a very solid NHL player. Now, you've probably seen the screenshot here of his contract. He is an RFA in the final year of his deal, and he's on his rookie contract still, so the Bruins have the great opportunity here now to really, I want to say, control his destiny, but so does Marat Khusnutdinov as well. Currently making $925 on his contract, and in the possibility of what we're seeing, I do like the idea of a couple years, maybe another 2, 3, 4 years deal at a decent price. He, although has not played too many NHL games at this point, he's been a player that, at least what we've seen from him so far, will be able to be a very consistent, solid NHL player. And although Daily Faceoff, or Puckpedia right now has him at the left wing 3 slot, where he is playing, that is where he is on the depth chart. His potential is a lot higher than this. And he is a small frame, 5'9", 165, but that really suits his game. He's strong on his feet for a guy who's 165 pounds. He's shown that in that clip that I just mentioned as well, or just showed as well. You can see here, he's very strong on his feet. Now, of course, when you're playing against certain players, they're going to prioritize laying the body. They're going to prioritize moving your feet and getting in your way rather than this. But Marat has been such a great skater in his NHL tenure so far, and even being the captain in the KHL and MHL, he showed that he's a leader. He can use his feet well, and he is not afraid to take a hit when needed. And going over to, as well, a tweet here from Robert Chalmers. I wanted to pull this up because I do think that this is a very interesting thing to look at as well. So just a reminder, Marat Khusnutdinov is a former captain of his MHL team, KHL team, and the Russian national team. I think there's potential for a player that has been seen as a leader in Russia for a while. Yes, a language barrier is there, but could come as a strong player for the Bruins. Now, of course, he's not going to get a letter anytime soon. But if the Bruins do decide, hey, this guy is someone that we'd like to build in the future. He suits our game very well. He seems to have a great understanding of our system. He could be a guy that, eventually moves into one of these leadership roles. And I do believe that's what Wild fans were also thinking. Marat Khusnutdinov was someone who had a lot of potential. They were waiting for him to come over from the KHL, and ultimately when he didn't get too much time. The Wild are in a very good spot, however, in that team. And, some of these younger guys may not have all the experience and all the opportunities as these older guys. But he's one of those players that, cracked the team for a little bit, made some, big push on this team, played pretty well, and ultimately, as they tried to get better, they had to move on from him. And I think that this is a great opportunity here for the Boston Bruins. And I wanted to pull up one more quote here. Sorry, not this one. I wanted to pull up one quote here from Joe Sacco about what he had to say about Marat Khusnutdinov here. He said, "I like his energy. I like his speed. He's got some tenacity in his game. He reloads well. He's on top of people. He's quick to pucks." And, looking at all of these things Joe Sacco said here, they're all absolutely correct. He's a very, very talented player. He's a very great player when you're looking at the whole system of a player that is trying to make an NHL roster at that size. And even though these are pretty generic things to say, they're exactly correct. So let me know what you think here in the comments below about this. And what do you think about Marat Khusnutdinov and his impact so far in the Boston Bruins and what they may see with the rest of the season as he could progress to as line 2, maybe even a line 1 role at some point, depending on what happens here in the season. But I'm very excited about Marat Khusnutdinov. Let me know what you think. But that's all I got in this video. If you did enjoy, give it a like, hit the sub button as well. But I'm signing out. Thank you for watching. Hope you have a great day. See you later.